Hi guys, what's going on? Thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel where I focus on early game and mid game stuff. Today is going to be the day where I do the first champion guide of this channel. And I'm very much looking forward to it. It's actually going to be Leminisi, the free champion we all got, a 5-star soul for. And that is where we are exactly at the center of what I am gonna want to talk about in today's video. It's hard to separate Leminisi and her 5-star soul from each other when everybody gets it for free. And so I'm not going to talk about Leminisi today, whilst I obviously am, but I'm talking about a 5-star ascended Leminisi. So that means that me talking about her utility, about her damage, is always interlinked with Brimstone. And Brimstone at 5-star, meaning she gets a 60% chance of placing a protected smite debuff on every hit. It also means we are talking about a Leminisi on drugs, basically. We're talking about a Leminisi that gets pretty strong stats with pretty bad gear, as you can see here. At least strong stats for early game and early mid game. Just because she gets so many stats from her Brimstone. I mean, I guess you guys probably know this, but it's 7,500 HP, 750 attack, 600 defense, crit damage, accuracy and resistance, all the stats that she needs. In this context, in my opinion, Leminisi might just be one of the best free champions, free login champions we ever got for early game accounts. Which is pretty crazy to me. This only applies because she gets the soul. I mean, other login champions also got souls. But she also has pretty great utility for early game. Especially removing 2 random buffs on each hit, meaning 4 random buffs being removed. Also a heal reduction debuff, which is actually important in early game. And can be nice in certain situations later on as well. And she gets a 50% chance to place a block buffs, which is not a high percent chance, but if it lands, it is still very useful. So let's see what Hell Hades has to say about her. Right, where are we at? Here we are. Hell Hades gives her a 3.5, which I would probably slightly disagree. Usually, she is mainly a damage dealer for Arena. She does pretty strong damage, as you will see from these ratings down here. Decent damage on Legendary damage on her A1, Godlike damage on her A2, which I agree with, and it's also why I like to utilize her in Arena a lot. And we also have strong damage on her double AoE A3. So that's pretty great. But without Brimstone, she would not find her way into my roster, even though I'm pretty early in the game. Mainly because I don't want to book her, and the utility I get from her is not that amazing, and I can't use her for a very, very long time, because at some point I'm definitely going to get champions that are going to be stronger than her. Her A2 damage is great, but that's single target. And the rest of the damage does not really say you'll want me in your team. The block buffs, like we already said, has a bad chance. So she's not really a great Hydra champion in the long term. So I wouldn't rate her at 3.5. Me personally, I would probably give her a 3. And yeah, be done with it. I mean, she is a decent champion. She isn't amazing. She's better than people said in the beginning when she was released. She's better than my own opinion of her was in the beginning. Yeah, but she still isn't great. In combination with Brimstone, though, all of a sudden she becomes a serviceable damage dealer for Demon Lord Clan Boss, at least up to Nightmare Clan Boss. She is my main damage dealer in Hydra. She is my main damage dealer in Chimera. She is my main damage dealer in dungeons. She is my only damage dealer in all of these areas, actually, which is pretty crazy. But having talked about all that, masteries, War Master, definitely very great. Talked about her abilities a bit. As a relic, I just put something random there to give her a bit of attack. I have her in Savage set, but that's just because Savage has been... I've had a decent set of Savage stuff, and I got crit rate here and accuracy, and then it just made sense to complete the set. But I'm not really relying on the damage that she gives me, except maybe for her A2. But apart from that, my damage mainly comes from Brimstone, and I utilize her accuracy, which is, and her I utilize her skills, looking at strip and block buffs, and heal reduction actually, which is why, in my opinion, accuracy is her most important stat. All right. I think I have talked enough about her, like in the just, you know, looking at her portrait and the side of Hell Hades. Just one more note: I was pretty lucky to get pretty decent accessories right here, so that's why she has pretty decent stats overall. I think it is time to look into some of the areas I've already mentioned and to see where I use Leminisi the most, or where she is most important. I actually use her in my clan boss team. Just did 15.2 million on Nightmare Clan Boss. Have been doing Nightmare Clan Boss for quite a while now. Like 12 days or something. Well, maybe a bit more, maybe like 2 weeks, around about 2 weeks. And she is my main and kind of only damage dealer alongside War Master, which every champion has on this team, except for Vergis. She is my only damage dealer I have in this team, and the rest of the team is basically just there to keep her alive and is there for her to make her job. So I'm not really utilizing any of her abilities here. She's just there for Brimstone. She has a block buffs, which counters the increased attack that the clan boss puts on himself, but Tuhanurak does that as well very reliably, and therefore it's not important on my Leminisi. That being said, she's there for the dungeon. You'll see she's very likely going to put on a Brimstone right away on her first attack, just because the chances are so high on each hit. There we go. And that's going to go through until the end, and that's where the damage is coming from. Yeah, I think there's not really much more to show you. I might make a different video on how I assembled my clan boss team. Have talked a bit about it in other videos. Yeah, but I think we'll just let this run go through until the end, and then we'll look at the results. Alright guys, this run is coming to an end. Tuhanurak and Vergis have actually been alive for quite some time, and all the others have been dead for a long time. As you can see, it's bad affinity for Leminisi. She only does 4.3 million damage in this run, which is still much more than the others. And the goal of this composition was to bring together a team of very sturdy champions that is going to be able to survive for a long time, so that War Master is going to be able to do some damage and bring Brimstone with the Leminisi in order to do the rest. And Leminisi does her job. As you can see, it's only 11.4 here. The other team that I did, that I just showed you, did 15 million damage, so we end up at 26 million, which is totally fine for me. You get an idea how well Brimstone can work and how much more damage she would have done. Like usually she does around 6 million, I think, at least. Right, so that was that. I think for the other areas, I think I've made my point about her being a boss killer with Brimstone, which is why I'm not going to go for a run in Hydra or especially in Chimera, because you could argue it's relatively similar as clan boss, just because you attack one enemy and not 4 as it is in Hydra. But even in Hydra, as you can see here, her Brimstone makes it possible, and her damage makes it possible to put out quite decent numbers. Again, she's definitely the one putting out the biggest numbers in this team, and she is my Hydra clan boss damage dealer as well in the beginning, just because she has Brimstone. Same thing goes for... Same thing goes for Chimera, as I said. She died very early here as well, which is why this wasn't ideal, but again to Hanurak and I think, who was the other one? I think Deacon survived very long, which is why these two did pretty decent damage in this run, and it is over 4 million, which is going to give me the highest chest, which is why I didn't repeat that run. It's 5 million. Right. But I did already on normal do over 7 million damage with Leminisi doing, I think, 4.5 or something. Right. That is the clan boss. So I want to talk about dungeons next, just because I think they are the most important next to the clan boss for different reasons. The potion keeps, for example, I can't really show you because they are closed right now, but the spirit keep and the magic keep. I can only do stages 20 because of Leminisi. She gives me the strip, which takes away the shield from the magic keep, and also the block debuffs from the spirit keep, and she makes it possible that I do enough damage on both of these stages to do stage 20, which is actually super important in the beginning in order to farm efficiently. She's also my damage dealer for the Void Keep, even though she doesn't have any special abilities for that, and she's also my damage dealer for the Force and the Arcane Keep, just with Brimstone and her general damage. Minotaur's Labyrinth, made a video about Minotaur's Labyrinth quite early on. I don't think we'll need to talk about Minotaur's Labyrinth right here. The Ice Golem's Peak, I'm actually doing stage 20. I've just taken out Deacon so that I don't do too much damage too quickly, and then I just utilize all the buffs I get from my team, and she is slowly but surely taking down the boss. It takes a long time, but I am actually able to do stage 20 on Ice Golem pretty early in the game, which is pretty amazing, thanks to her. Brimstone, I'm utilizing this on Dragon as well. She's got use in Fire Knight's Castle, just because she is a two-hitter on every single ability, which is super nice. So she's even viable for this. I haven't really looked into the Sand Devil's Necropolis and the Phantom Shogun yet, so that is something for later on. Same goes for the Iron Twins. But just having Brimstone is already so amazing and can help you in so many areas that it qualifies Leminisi as a definite 6-star in early and early mid game. I think maybe not the last thing, yeah, kind of. The last thing we should and need to talk about is Arena. Maybe I can show you a fight in Arena. It's not going to be very interesting just because I mainly pick these teams. But we have a Arbiter with a relatively high team power right here. So let's just get into this. I'm mainly using the accuracy aura from Hanurak because some of these enemies have pretty high, there you go, have pretty high resistance. At least for early game. You can see I'm struggling a bit damage-wise here. But that shouldn't be a problem. There you go. Leminisi does pretty decent damage, knocks down half HP from Arbiter. And she just makes it possible for me to attack these single-target enemies that are a bit more beefy. Because, I mean, let's be honest, this early in the game, you don't really have a chance against any of the other teams. Probably not even against this team. He has a 5 Fabian, I think his name is. He was a fusion not too long ago. He is super strong in PvP, has great crowd control, and is definitely going to be faster than I can build any of my champions. So even this team is not touchable for me. The most important thing is that even though I'm mainly building a tanky team, I can still do damage to single target enemies, so that I even have the possibility to progress into Gold 5 Arena. Still going to be very hard, and I had to be very active to do that, but yeah, she is the reason I can take out most of the single target fights, basically. So maybe I'll just manual this and show you, because she doesn't do her A2 on auto. So let me just, perfect. Arbiter has full HP, full turn meter, and that one hit 43k. That's crazy. She has alright gear, but she does, at this early stage of my account, she does 80,000 damage on her A2, which is pretty nuts, to be quite honest. Right. Live arena, I've used my tokens. I think that area is takes far too long to show in a showcase anyways. I would have to cut that into little pieces, and it's basically very similar to arena, to the normal arena. The great thing about Leminisi, she gives me utility and she gives me brimstone, which is absolutely amazing, and she can work as my damage dealer in arena. So she ticks so many boxes for me that I think there is a case to be made that she is the best login champions we ever had for early game accounts. You can do the keeps. She is your damage dealer in Clan Boss. She is your damage dealer in Hydra. You can do all dungeons with her. You just need a tanky team around her and you're good to go. That's the strength of 5-star Soul. That's the strength of her utility and the strength of her damage. Right. I think and hope I've talked about everything that is important about her. Don't get me wrong. She is not an amazing champion by any stretch of the imagination. She isn't a great champion for mid game and for late game, but she is, well, she's decent for mid game still, but she's absolutely amazing in early game, and a great combination with me choosing these supports as download links and as promo codes at the beginning of the game. All right, that's it. I think, yeah, that wraps up the video. Unfortunately, yeah, one more thing. Unfortunately, there is a very important area in the game that I'm really not suited to tackle right now, which is Spider's Den. I'm gonna have to look into that next and see where I can get an HP burner or somebody else that I can utilize to take down Spider 20. But that's basically just down to luck. Either there is a good fusion coming around the corner at some point, or I'll just pull a good champion from a shard. We'll have to see about that. I hope you have a great day. If I forgot anything about Leminisi, if you disagree with me about Leminisi, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer. Hope to see you on the next video. Until then, bye.